There's so many secrets that I don't think anyone knows. I would say, yeah, Ron's personality, how much fun and how comedic he is. I would say, maybe I shouldn't be saying this, Victor, like, hates handling guns and shooting. He's always like, what am I doing? And then you see Victor. I mean, he's such a great actor. You see him on the show, and he shoots so well and, so sure of himself and I'm like, oh my God, how did you pull it off?
Well, when Sydney and Vaughn were choosing names, because everyone has very personal taste, I chose the names I was considering for my baby. It was Clementine and Owen. And Vaughn mocked them. And they were so upset because I got online and everyone was like, Sydney Bristow would never consider Clementine. It's a horrifying name. Why would she ever name her child that? So it became my child's middle name.
That's true.
Behind the scenes secret. We had one, and it really wasn't a secret, but it was a game that the group department played with Jennifer. We used to feed her dots, the candy dots, and what we used to do is we used to hide it on the set, and she used to have to find it. We'd give her clues during the take of where they were, and she would have to find them, and at the end of every take, you would see a beeline to the dots. We would leave it in some phenomenal places.
I personally look through all of the fan sites in order to get information about what direction I'm going to take things. And since I work on the editing and I lock the shows with the executive producers and I'm a director, it's very important to me to get feedback. And I think that with the internet today, it's the most fascinating thing that's happened for us as filmmakers through the course of having the internet, that we can get this feedback.
One of the things people don't realize is that the reason why the show was able to go as long as it was because of the coffee truck, and that Jennifer bought the coffee truck for the crew about 3 times a week, and then other times the directors or producers bought it. So essentially we bribed the crew with a lot of caffeine to keep them going. So that coffee truck, and then there was the In-N-Out truck, and there was the ice cream truck, pizza truck. It's amazing how grown adults will respond to treats, and like little seals. So if it's 3 o'clock in the morning and you have 4 more hours to go and you bring them a little piece of pizza, they will keep working. It's an amazing phenomenon.
One of Lincoln's best kept secrets is a wonderful lover. A lot of people don't know that about him. You don't see that on screen. They don't write that in very much. But one of the best in the world, they say. Comparable to a Don Juan character. Johnny Depp. Flinkman, Johnny Depp. You see the resemblance, Flinkman and Depp. I was supposed to be in the movie, in the pirate movie, but I couldn't because I was locked. ABC locked me down to this. I couldn't do it.
When I first met Jennifer, she literally, hello, and how are you? And then she says, oh my God, she said, you went to the Barn Theater, right? That's where you got your equity card. And I said, yeah, I was from Ohio and Western Pennsylvania, and I went to the Barn Theater as a chorus girl. You sing and you dance, you tap dance mostly, and you sing in the chorus, and that was a way to get your equity card. And Jennifer, that's where she had gone to get her equity card at the same kind of age that I was, like early 20s, out of college. And she said it was always so funny to her because when she went to the Barn Theater is when I was doing 30-something. And her thing was, well, if that girl that was here at the Barn Theater, and she's just this little Western Pennsylvania girl just like me, and if she could go and have this success on 30-something, I bet I could.
The Rachel character risked becoming a Sydney Jr. And I think we added up some elements to her character, like she's kind of a smarty pants. She was a techie. She had these other elements that the Sydney Bristow character didn't really have, and I think that made her kind of interesting and kind of different. And Rachel, the actress, she is so awesome to work with. Always positive, always willing to do anything, comes into the room with her own ideas, comes into the room to play with us. Friday Night Poker. You know, she's just one of those actors that you love to work with and love to write for because she can do anything. And I know the guys love her. I mean, the guys just drool daily. Yeah.
One of the things about working on a spy show is we've had kind of our own little intelligence operation, or I guess counterintelligence operation online with the fans, is a lot of times scripts leak out. People get a hold of people in production. I don't know if they have sources, stuff like that. They get a hold of scripts. They get a hold of spoilers. And one of the things we've done is we've kind of identified the sources of the leaks and plugged them to some extent. But what that's entailed is sort of having our own sources that go on the fan boards, you know, under secret aliases themselves, interact with the people that are posting the leaks and kind of befriending them and figuring out where they come from. And at the same time we sort of leak our own things. We often leak script pages online for fans through, you know, our own alter egos online and things like that, so that at least they're satisfied, and it allows us to kind of keep track. And that way we leak what we'd like to leak and sort of contain it to some element, but that's our own little spy operation on the fan boards.
So I would have to say the best kept secret on ALIAS is something called the Garner lean. Jennifer Garner is probably more savvy about the camera and where the camera is and what it sees than just about anybody I know or have worked with. And very often you'll do a shot where she's standing there and another actor walks in and it becomes over that actor's shoulder to Jen. Well, sometimes that actor doesn't hit the mark, and sometimes they will block her, and then she'll do the Garner lean, which basically goes something like this. Here you are, Jen. And then the other actor comes in and does this. And then the Garner lean. So 30-40% of the time you actually see Jennifer Garner on the show is because of the Garner lean.
Well, just for the girls who have asked me this in the streets, both Bradley and David are excellent kissers. And Bradley and I worked together for so long before we had to kiss that we were like, how are we going to do this? And so we went to my trailer, and I had brought a bottle of vodka, and we had a shot of vodka before we did that, because we were like, I got to get ready. I can't. This is just, because we've been friends, and like, we both had, you know, significant others at the time, and it was just like, how are we going to do this? And so we, through the liquor courage, we had yeah, but it was worth it. Can't be good.